thank you once again. My wholehearted welcome to all the participants. BS Anangpuria Institute is a well-established educational group of Faridabad, Delhi NCR, and it is affiliated to JC Bose University of Science and Technology YMCA, Faridabad. Our institute always strives to provide contemporary education and hands-on experience to the students. We at BS Anangpuria believes that opportunities do not happen on their own. Rather, we create them. The institute was established under the aegis of Bhavani Shankar Anangpuria Charitable Trust in the year 2001. It is a cluster of three institutes which comprises various departments within themselves, namely BS Anangpuria Institutes of Technology and Management, which was established in 2001. It has Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Department of Information Technology, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Department of Computer Application, Department of Management Studies, in which we run MBA in dual specialization like marketing, finance, human resource, and international business. And we are also offer BBA with specialization in general management and BBA in industry integrated courses like retail marketing management, financial services, and banking management. We have BS Anangpuria Institute of Pharmacy, which was established in 2003 with Department of Bachelor of Pharmacy, Department of Diploma of Pharmacy. We have BS Anangpuria Institute of Law, which was established in 2007, which comprises of Department of Bachelors of Law and Department of Masters of Law. Our institute always strives to provide contemporary education and hands-on experiences to the students. We work on the industry-based model in which training is imparted to students through regular subject classes and debriefing sessions. We design our curriculum in the way that during the process of study, students gain knowledge of business practices and processes, understand the role of economics in the world of marketplace, and acquire an awareness of global business issues. Since inception, it has been upgrading in the ever-changing corporate sector so as to produce the readily employable workforce. Apart from that, the latest infrastructure facilities, contemporary teaching style, a customized student transformation and employability program STEP is also delivered to the students. It is a unique feature of our pedagogy, which bridges the gap between the corporate requirement and the university offered curriculum. The core component of this program are inter and intrapersonal skill development, computer proficiency, and value-added courses. The Department of Management having a blend of experienced faculty, both from the teaching and the corporate fields. This is all about our institutes. Now, I would like to invite the convener of this faculty development program, Ms. Kamna Singh, the head of management department, to give us the insight about the program and our distinguished speakers. Ma'am, we welcome you on this platform. Thank you, and we are honored to have you here. Please proceed, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dr. Rashmi Chauhan, ma'am. Now I would like to welcome you all. Good morning, one and all present here. I, Kamna, Head Department of Management Studies, on behalf of BS Anangpuria Educational Institutes, welcome you all in this 5-day online FDP program on academic enhancement through quality research from 15th July to 19th July 2020. This FDP program will focus on the procedure to do research. As a researcher, it is mandatory for one to know the basics and have a core idea in order to satisfy the purpose of research and establish an acceptable conclusion. This FDP program will provide the opportunity to the academicians and research scholars to enhance their research skills and understand the methodologies behind research. This FDP program is intended to orient participants towards developing their own research plans with due attention to every stage of research. The objective kept in mind while framing of this faculty development program was to highlight the questions like to understand what research is, how to do review of literature, to make participants familiar with techniques for different research approaches, to understand the application of right tools and techniques while conducting the research, to understand the use of SPSS in data analysis, to enhance the analytical skills, to facilitate researchers in writing research work, etc. The program is registered by 1,757 participants, which includes research scholars and academicians from different states of our country. While designing the structure of this program, it was kept in mind that there are going to be people from different backgrounds. That's why emphasis was given on research methodology as a whole, not pertaining to one single field, so that maximum benefit can be taken out of it. The major objectives of this FDP is to promote research orientation of faculty members and researchers, to help participants and make them learn advanced research methods like Mendeley and Jotero, to provide the working knowledge of SPSS for data analysis, to highlight the concerns related to academic integrity and ethics in research, and to understand the submission process of research paper in best fit journal. An extraordinary research work is important for any academician and professional, as it defines the growth and understanding of the researcher in a specific area. This faculty development program on academic enhancement through quality research at BSA ITM Faridabad is designed to inculcate a systematic research approach equipped with recent technologies and softwares in the academic fraternity. Teaching and research are complement to each other in today's competitive academic and learning environment. The FDP is such an initiative wherein the delivery of content is focused upon extracting quality of research from the faculties through effective and competent course content. Thus, this program attempts to address the concerns and provide solutions to these research publication issues. The session will be delivered by the eminent scholars of national and international repute. This FDP program is for 5 days from 15 to 19 July, where we will cover the following topics. On day 1, we will cover methodology behind a quality research paper by Dr. Sheela Srivastava. She is a director in Nehru School of Management, NCERC campus, Nila Gardens, Thrisuur, Kerala. On day 2, we will have analysis behind research by using SPSS by Mr. Bhupendra Khanna. He is a Dean, FMC, CSMU, Head, TPO, St. Wilfred Education Society, Jaipur, Rajasthan. He is also member of Actuarial Society of India. On day 3rd, we will have a session on managing references and citations using Mendeley and Jotero by Professor Ashutosh Nigam, Chairman of Department of Management Studies, JC Bose University of Science and Technology, YMCA, Faridabad, Haryana. On day 4, we will have a session on review and rejection of submitted research papers by Dr. Sudhir Rana, sir, who is editor, Sage Publications, and Taylor and Francis. On day 5th, we will have a session on research ethics and integrity by Dr. Tariq Ashraf, sir, Head Department of Library and Information Science, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. And after that, we will have the valedictory session also. All these topics will be delivered by the eminent speaker of national and international repute. Now, I would like to welcome our keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Bedi, sir. But before that, I would like to give you all a brief introduction about Dr. Suresh Bedi, sir. Dr. Suresh Bedi sir is formerly Dean, IMT Ghaziabad and Director, Institute of Management Studies and Research, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak. He is doctorate in international business with strong background in economics, more than 40 years of postgraduate teaching, research and training experience at university level. He guided more than 30 PhD theses in diverse areas, including branding of corporate hospitals, supply chain management, software exports, NPA modeling, commodity derivatives, export exhibition strategies, and strategic cost management in mergers and acquisitions. He published a large number of research and policy papers in reputed journals and business dailies. Sir has also conducted a large number of faculty development and management development programs at senior level, conducted several training programs for large corporate organizations also. He contributed substantially to the growth and regulation of higher education as a founding member of the Board of Governors of Haryana State Counselling Society. Also worked as expert for state and national level regulatory bodies. He played key role in developing strategies for the growth and quality of several reputed higher education institutions as member of their board of governors and academic advisory councils, and worked in senior academic leadership positions as Dean, FMS at Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Chairman, Department of Business Economics, Guru Jambeshwar University, Hisar, and Dean, IMT Ghaziabad, expertise in curricular designing, course articulation, and pedagogical innovation. He is a celebrated author of the famous book on business environment. He is also having deep understanding of quality assurance and accreditation in higher education, having more than 15 years of hands-on experience in leadership roles in designing quality system and processes and accreditation of higher educational institutions. Sir is also having keen interest in contemporary economic and business affairs. Sir has also delivered keynote addresses at several prestigious academic events. Once again, I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir. Welcome, Dr. Suresh Bedi, sir.
Okay, thank you, Kamna. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to be here at the Faculty Development Program, and I congratulate the organizers for organizing this Faculty Development Program of very important contemporary interest, which is the quality of research. All of us know that now research is a very important dimension of the faculty contribution as well as assessment. But we are not talking from individuals' point of view, but research is important for the institutions, for the countries, and for the community at large. So today we are living in the COVID times, and almost all the countries of the world are grappling with the problem of research in medical sciences as to how to find the right kind of vaccine. And sometimes we have to do research to bring the economies back on the rail of growth. We have to do research for understanding the society. We have to do research in order to understand how the business works, how the scientific work, how the scientific world works, and how the corporate organizations, they work. Now, coming back to the higher education sector, let us, while the experts will be talking on the individual components of research, as was given in the introduction session, let us first of all address the most primary question, that for a faculty, why the research is important, whereas his task is to teach the students. The point is that when it comes to expanding the existing boundaries of knowledge, the world looks at higher education institutions. So that way, what happens in a university, in a college, in a research institute or other academic institution, what happens is what is the resultant of the total collective effort of the faculty when it comes to the generation of knowledge. For a faculty, as the word implies, the research is not only a mechanism for undertaking intellectual pursuits, but this is something which leads to the generation of validated knowledge. The knowledge could be on the methods the word works. It could be on the certain strands of thought which have been guiding the society and running the destiny of the countries. We want to understand that. Or it could be the development of some new technology, development of some new ideas for the better quality of life of the people. The word is looking towards the faculty, while other people are busy in their own vocations and professions. It is the word of academics which is supposed to be engaged in all these kinds of pursuits. So today, we need to do quality research. We are saying this for the faculty not only from the point of view of building their CVs, but from the institution's point of view. They have to go in for accreditations, for rankings, for brand buildings. They have to prove to the world that here we are and here we are doing the quality work. So it is not the discretion of an individual faculty member today that whether to do research or not to do research. In fact, now in today's world, there are no choices, because research is the institutional requirement. It is country's requirement. It is society's requirement for the better quality of life and better living. And the whole world of higher education, it together has to pool its resources, set a direction, and go ahead for that. So today, as the knowledge is advancing, the belief systems are getting shattered. Now, we are not living in a make-believe kind of world. Here, the people are based in what we call evidence-based knowledge. If I say that it happens in this way, people are expecting me to prove that, give me the evidence. If I say that this method works better, people say, show me the evidence, demonstrate this process. People are asking for evidences. Now the style of education right from the school level is that we are never asking the students to live in a make-believe world. People are asking for proof for everything which they are doing. And it is here that the research comes forward and plays a role. I'm sorry, you will have to put up with a few noises. There is some repair maintenance work going on in the neighborhood. I think that is one limitation of working from home. But I hope we will keep our basic audibility level so that we are able to understand. Now, today, when we say that what are the areas in which a faculty is supposed to contribute, apart from now, a teacher is a very stressed person today. Stressed, I am saying it in the sense that there is a lot of pressure on his or her time, and he has to find time for research. Maybe in the institution, maybe in the library or at home, wherever he or she is, because he is engaged in teaching, counseling, pedagogical contribution. He or she is responsible for student outcomes. Then the institutions are saying you do corporate training, consultancy is expected from him, extension and community work is expected from him. He is supposed to play academic leadership role, team contributions. He is supposed to make a contribution to the corporate life of the institution. So that way, you see, a lot of skilling is required on the part of teacher, that and in addition to discharging these responsibilities, he has to find time for research. In fact, teaching and research are among the, they are the two core areas of a faculty work, and the faculty has to give the evidence that, well, here I am. So when it comes to researching, by research you see, research is the intellectual introduction of a faculty. He is supposed to be a scholar, first of all, and he is supposed to be a critical thinker, a person who can think innovatively, who can make some addition to the existing state of knowledge, or if there are some theories which are already existing. So faculty is a body of persons who would be responsible for upgrading the existing thought, taking it further, applying it to the real field, coming out with the new interpretations, and in the process, he is making a net contribution to what is already known to the world. So today, all institutions are evaluating faculty on the basis of research as one of the parameters. So here, what is expected of him are a number of papers in quality journals. The faculty is supposed to produce research monographs, discussion papers, and his publications, they have to be in journals which enjoy the good impact factor. He is supposed to bring the funded research projects. They are generally the long-term projects of more than 1 year duration. He is supposed to do action research. Then the senior faculty members, they are guiding the doctoral dissertations. And in addition to that, a faculty is supposed to be interacting in the academic world and participating in not only organizing seminars and conferences, but also participating in them and making the substantial contributions of whatever area he has done his work. So today, again, the faculty is wanting the faculty output to be codified. So now at the global level, there is a large number of reputed institutions which are asking for the H index of the faculty. They are asking for the I-10 index of the faculty, which is based on the quality of research and the number of citations which have been used, where his work has been quoted. So that way, today, it is no longer enough to say that I have produced 5 papers, 10 papers, or 15 papers. So if the impact factor is 1, 1.5, 0.5, or close to 0, or the journal is unrecognized, it has no academic reputation, then similarly the quality of those publications, they also get discounted. And that is for this reason. We not only have the H index or I-10 index, there are new indices are also being developed so that the distinction could be made between the quality of the work of one faculty member and it could be contrasted from that of the other. Now, those who are doing Ph.D. research, those who are guiding, those who have already written some research papers, they already know the basic structure of research. But those scholars who are in the beginning of the stage and those who are planning to write some good papers, you see, for them, it can be quite a stupendous task to zero in on the precise area for the research work. It is not enough to say that I want to write something on service marketing, or I want to do something in performance evaluation or the corporate productivity. Not enough, but you have to go further and specify that which dimension of corporate productivity you want to do. What are the things with which you want to link this area with? What would be the method of analysis? Who will be the user of your study? And then the topic can never be vague. If you are writing a paper for a quality journal, then it has to be a very cutting, clear, and crisp topic, so that just by reading the topic, one is able to understand that, well, this is the area in which the researcher has produced a work. So it has to be new, it has to be innovative, and moreover, the way it is demonstrating the results, they are innovative. So in today's time, it is contemporary. Even if it is a historical study, you are trying to bring out important implications from the historical developments which are relevant even today. And and your methodology and the process through which you have processed your data, process the results, you see, they have to be credible. And today, whatever research we do, we should be very, first of all, right at the beginning of the work, we should be addressing a question to our own self, that why we are doing research on this, to whom it is relevant, who is the user of my study. It is not that I pick up any topic and connect one type of variable with another type of variable and say that if this is the data, this is the result. The results, they have to be generalizable. They have to be useful to someone. So that is why these are the things which add meaning to research. So in a formal research format, when we are seeking all these justifications, when we want to give the scientific evidence of our work, or when we are trying to show to the world that here I have arrived at certain results and this is the credibility of that, then I am talking of a number of things together. So first of all, I am studying that what is it which the people have written in the literature survey, what are the gaps, from which point of view they have produced the work, from which point of view I am going to take my study, what is the justification when people have produced 1,000 papers or 1,000 studies have already been done, that now why I am taking this, what is the new context, am I taking a new area of study, am I adding a new perspective to the whole issue which has been debated since long. So what are the specific objectives? So my objectives will tell that how I am different from others. I'm setting up my hypothesis, or there are some questions in my mind which I am raising. And these objectives, hypotheses, and questions, they will tell that to how new and innovative and how cutting and what is the depth of my work. So here the researchers, they need to, right in the beginning, they need to map the depth of the work with the reputation of the journal. If you are picking up a journal which has an impact factor of 5 or 6, then the quality and the depth of my research must correspond to the level of development or the level of academic reputation of the journal in which I am going to publish. There has to be matching, otherwise it will come back with editorial notes. It will come for revision or it might be rejected and so on. So therefore, the type of journal where we want to send, we must see what is the thrust of the journal, what are the major areas, and what is the specialization of the journal, and does the topic on which I am doing the research, does it accord with the specialization of the journal? Is the level of my paper and the level of discussion, does it match with the type of journal? So I hope there are going to be some sessions on how to select the right journal for your research work. These are the things which will come. But at the beginning, I would just like to highlight this factor, not that I write any paper and send it to any journal. This can be a very disastrous kind of thing. So when after the application of methodology, which basically is nothing but the research and the sampling design and the tools of analysis which are going to use, the methodology proves that my study is scientific. This is like the engine below the bonnet. This gives credibility to my analysis. This tells me, will my work be authentic? Is it dependable? Is it of quality? Have the results been scientifically obtained? So my methodology, which contains my research design, my sampling design, and the tools which I am going to use, they give credibility to my method of analysis. And the scholar has to be acutely aware. If methodology is not in order, then the structure of the entire thesis, it goes down. It is just like the foundation of a building. If the foundation is weak, then howsoever beautiful is the design or the building, then in totality, the building is weak and it cannot be relied upon. It is not safe. So therefore, I think in this faculty development program, there will be many sessions which are devoted to methodology and the different tools of research analysis, and I hope the participants will benefit immensely out of that. I want the faculty members to, and scholars and other participants here in the program, that by research we are not merely talking of writing a paper for some research journal, or even writing a doctoral dissertation or a postdoctoral work. People these days are writing research monographs. A research monograph is published by the institution itself, or there are some professional agencies which are taking up research monographs. So here the degree of freedom available to a researcher is more. Here he does not have to match his research writing with the tone and tenor of a research journal. Similarly, there are discussion papers. Even World Bank has produced a large number of discussion papers. So these are also the forms of academic writings which the institutions are acknowledging, and they have been propagating and sending it to the academic networks for recommendations, for comments, for opinions. And then these monographs and research papers, either they are published later on in quality journals, or they are published in the form of books and so on. So even if a researcher finds some difficulty in publishing his paper in some quality journal, he can equally well go in for a research monograph or a discussion paper. So the people who are into teaching, or those who are desiring to be in teaching, they must keep in mind that today, as the curricula are getting revised, now there is a growing emphasis that the research should be integrated in teaching at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. Not that we want them to be researchers, but we want to develop critical thinking among the students. We want that they should have innovative mindsets. We want that they should go in for the evidence-based results. So for that reason also, you see, every faculty member has to understand the research processes, the research nuances, the formal structures, and in the process, you see, one responsibility which will always fall back upon the faculty, and where perhaps the teaching or outside consultation is minimum, that is the development of a thought. The internal thinking process, the research questions which are coming into your minds, which are in fact troubling you. If you have the passion, if you have the perseverance, you would want answers to those questions. Those questions are which belong to your area. And the second thing which I want to emphasize is that ideas never come out of thin air. I will repeat it. Ideas never come out of thin air. They come through reading. They come through peer group discussions. So my suggestion is to the researching faculty, those who want to start their journey on the path of research, my suggestion to them is read a lot. See what people have written. See what people are thinking. Look at your professional networks. See what are the thoughts which are taking place today. What are the attitudes of the people? What are the new areas in which the people are taking up? What is the new thinking? On that basis, you develop. You see, you get started. It is just like pump priming. You have to receive some thought in order to generate your own thought. In vacuum, the ideas don't arise. So that way, you have to discuss a lot. You have to read a lot, and then the ideas start coming to the mind. And if they are pursued systematically, then they lead to the desired outcomes. So if we are already we are the faculty or we are wanting to be the faculty, then intellectual contribution is something which is expected from us at the core level. And a good, and today no, there is no need to say that the work has to be good. It has to be good. There is no substitute for good work, because the research writing is not only a part of our CV, it is our declaration to the world that how accomplished we are. So with these some of the initial thoughts, I conclude myself, and I hope that the uh, the experts would come and talk on the different specialized areas of writing quality research papers or other types of research. And I wish all the best. I congratulate the organizers, the institution, that they have organized this faculty development program at the very right time. And I hope that it will meet the desired results. My best wishes. Thank you very much. Back to Kamna.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable inputs. You have actually provided an insight on how to bring critical thinking in students as well as in ourselves, in academicians and research scholars too. How to do quality research by using analytical tools, techniques, and how we can publish research papers in quality journals. Thank you once again, sir. Now over to you, Dr. Rashmi ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kamna ma'am. Now I'm inviting the co-convener of this faculty development program to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Sudhir Rana, sir. Ma'am, we welcome you and it's a pleasure to have you here. Over to you, Sudhir ma'am. Sudhir ma'am. Ma'am, Sudhir ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, good morning to each one of you present today. I am privileged to be in the August gathering of learners. I welcome all of you once again to this 5-day faculty development program. Our profession as an academician pushes us to learn continuously. We are here today, irrespective of the tough times of COVID-19, to once again learn about research in our profession. Either we publish or perish. That is the motto. To guide us through the quality work of research, we have amongst us Dr. Sudhir Rana. It's my pleasure to introduce him to you. Dr. Sudhir Rana is an Associate Professor of Marketing and Chairperson at the Fortune Institute of International Business and Adjunct Faculty of School of Management, Netherlands and Kuwait. His research area includes consumer behavior, international marketing, and business education. He is an MBA and Ph.D. with MHRD scholarship from Government of India and postdoctorate from Putra Business School, University of Putra, Malaysia. He published numerous papers with Emerald, Elsevier, Taylor, and Francis Sage in Science, etc. He is the editor of FIIB Business Review, which is published quarterly by Sage Publications. South Asia Journal of Marketing and Advances in Emerging Markets and Business Operations, published by Rowden, Taylor, and Francis. He is a researcher at heart and spends all his time either teaching or in research work. He has been mentoring budding researchers. I give a warm welcome to Dr. Sudhir Rana. Over to you, sir.
Hi, good morning to everyone. First of all, I'm very thankful to Team Anangpuria because you're taking such a good initiative. I can well understand the importance of such sessions, and especially when we begin our journey. So, Dr. Kamana, Dr. Rashmi, Dr. Sukhbir, I'm very thankful that you took this initiative and you're bringing this discussion amongst the scholars. I'm very thankful to Professor Bedi who just laid the foundation of importance of research amongst us. I'm going to share a short presentation and I'll share some of my views through this presentation. Okay. Something that I'm going to speak is that the experience that I gained by myself as a scholar and also as an editor into some of the journals like Dr. Sudhir had just mentioned. So I have two lenses. One lens is being scholar myself, and the second lens is looking critically at the research work that somebody produced. The basic question that Dr. Bedi had just mentioned that today and Dr. Sukhbir too, that today is an environment where either you publish or perish. My view is to give you a very thought-provoking question that it is not only limited to publish and Paris. Acclamation of knowledge is something that every institution and every individual want, irrespective whether you stay into the academics or not. Knowledge acclamation and sharing is something that everybody wants. So looking from that lens, let us see that how do you plan, and because you're beginning this faculty development program, I want to give you a certain hints where you need to emphasize more on what you should keep in mind and how do you plan yourself. This is going to be a planning for you, and you need to learn by somebody's experience. You need to look at what exactly you want to learn and how you are going to develop your expertise in that. Trust me, if you're aiming to publish into good category journal, this is not going to be a one-day job or one faculty development program that can help you out in getting that such scholarly publication to be produced. This is not a magic. This is not going to happen overnight or in a day. What exactly you need is you need a very solid planning in terms of the theme or domain that you choose to do research upon, the way you want to position your research, the category of journals that you want to publish. There are a lot many things that come into the planning. The time that you have in your hand, maybe if I say that somebody who is doing PhD to complete his her PhD needs some quick publications in scholarly journal, the one who has already completed it may not be in that hurry. So you need to give it appropriate planning. As I said, that one faculty development program or few faculty development program are not enough to bring that scholarly attitude or scholarly quality into the work. You need to continuously invest your efforts, continuously develop your expertise. One thing that can help you certainly is the collaboration. That collaboration will come either learning through the workshop like beginning today, or you may get in touch with somebody who is expert in your domain. So you will have to think about how will you collaborate, who can help you out in sharpening your research, looking at your research, giving you some feedback that okay, this is what is required, and then the funnel can make you to reach to a publication point. Mind it, you will have a lot of critical um, uh, experiences where you'll feel that okay, something has went well, something has not went well. You'll have to continuously invest in your efforts. Your hard work is something that will make you reach in getting published in some of the scholarly journals. Second thing that you need is you'll have to continuously learn from your own experiences. When you learn from your own experiences, the kind of experience that you'll bring in your manuscript and the scholarly work, you'll get more academic kudos. Only thing that you need to find is the genuine reason that somebody should read your research. Let me begin this with a question. The question before us every time is, what do I read? There is abundant of literature available, any domain you pick up. So for example, you'd see COVID-19. If you look 3 months back, every editor was thinking that should we publish something on COVID-19 or not? Because uncertainty was so much that whether publishing this kind of paper would actually bring scholarly audience to the paper or not. And we have been really thoughtful that are we going to publish COVID-19 papers or not. But today, if you look, you'll find at least 1,000 papers on COVID-19. So this is how the world is moving, and this is arena of information. Information is free, almost free. I won't say everything is free, but the information is almost free. In when information is so much available and available so much in abundant around us, the question comes: what information should I consider? What information I should not consider? So you need to be very specific, and you need to decide that what is something that you're going to read and the thing that you're going to leave. You must have a very solid reason for both. Then when you read, how you're going to take advantage of it, how you're going to use it, so that somebody else can learn from your thoughts, somebody else can learn from your experiences. So you need to bring that in a basket that can be useful to somebody. So I'm giving you these two questions that before you plan, you should know. And I'm giving you a solution too. So what my take is that generally when it comes to reading of the scholarly work, we consider three things. And these three things are universal in academics. That who brings the knowledge to you today are the global publisher. And how do you decide the quality of that knowledge is related to indexing and rankings. I'm talking about specifically into the business research because I'm a business research scholar. So in the business research, there are several global publisher, international publishers, but more primarily the publisher who publishes the academic journals and the research journals. These are being dominated by the publishers mentioned here. So you do not forget or you cannot afford to looking at these publishers. This include Elsevier, Emerald, Sage, Springer, Taylor and Francis, Wiley, In the Science. There are others too like IGI Global, but the these publishers you really need to look at whenever you start your research. Your collection of research papers should come, or I say must come, from these publishers. So anything just you go searching on Google's Scholar and then you're downloading and reading may not be that global experts are expecting you to do. They expect you to choose something that have a good recognition in the market. Good recognition, it is just like quality and brand. So I being a marketing scholar, in consumers mind it's always is a question that should I look for a quality or should I look for a brand, and the consumer always say if I have both at the same time, quality from a brand, it's something that can make me happy and satisfied. So this is quality with the brand. Second thing, that how do you categorize those, that this knowledge stands here, this knowledge stands here, what should I take first, what should I take last? This is that you cannot afford to lose. But when it comes to delivering your own research and knowledge and clubbing it with the previous experiences and the existing knowledge, then you may like to look at the rankings and indexings. But I would just like to say that rankings are more regional. These are less universal, less global. But nowadays in things are coming to more of a uniform level, and some rankings are being considered at number of countries at a time. For example, India is also considering Australian business Dean's Council's ranks that stand as ABDC. ABDC have certain list. It comes every after 3 years. 2013 to 16 to 19 is the latest list that has come last year on December 6, 2019. So ABDC is a list where you'll find approximately 3,000 business journals, from where you can choose that which journals you should choose to read and others you may keep inside. Uh, ABS is the second list that you can look at. This is Academic Journal Guide by CABS, and 2018 Academic Journal Guides is the latest one. Next will come in 2021. So you can look at ABS. There are also some regional lists like NST that comes from Norway, ZUFO, CNRS comes from Finland, and other parts of Europe. Many European countries they also consider, but you should look primarily at ABDC and ABS. This is my suggestion and recommendation too, being a scholar and editor myself. The second is the indexing. Thomson Reader is now known as Clarivate because Clarivate has taken over that. You can look at the Web of Science list that is known as JCR, Journal Citation Report, that has recently came a month before. So that's these all are free list available, by the way. These are not paid. So you just go to Google, type ABDC, you'll get ABDC Excel sheet. You can look at the CABS website, go to CABS website, log in yourself, and you'll be able to look at the academic journal guide. Similarly, you can go to Clarivate, you have a free profile, log in the journal citation report, you'll be able to see journal citation report. This month, Scopus has also given their latest impact factor to the journals, which is known as SciMago. So you either look at SciMago, or you can go to the journal citation report by Scopus. There also domain wise, geography wise, you'll find some list. There are certain rankings like ABDC have rankings from C to A star, where A star is the prestigious one and the C is the lowest one. Similarly, in ABS, you'll find from 1 to 4. So 1 stands for the lowest ranking and the 4 stand for the highest ranking there. In the Clarivate, you'll find impact factor starting from 0 0.2, 0 0.10 to 5, 6, 7, 8. And the more the impact factor is, more prestigious the journal is. Similarly, you can search in Scopus from there are quantile rankings. This starts from Q1 to Q4. Q1 stands for the most prestigious journal. Some journals like Journal of Business Research that I shown in the previous slide, I had a picture, is the most prestigious journal into the field. And trust me, publishing with journal like JBR is not very easy. You need a very continuous effort for years to years to get one publication in such journal. So you need to know that how journals are changing, which journals are growing. So journals that are growing or they belong to an international publisher, if you publish on early stage with them, then maybe years, 2 years, 3 years, when the journal grows, your publication will also grow. So that's the advantage of choosing an aspiring journal. Then you can look at the ProQuest. They have their one ranking for social sciences. Then you can look at the ABSCO. The ABSCO ProQuest are the world's largest digital libraries, by the way, and they have different collections like ABSCO Premium, Business Elite, Corporate Plus, or ProQuest also have ABI Inform Global. So if a journal is indexed with any of these indexings, whether this is Clarivate, which is known as Web of Sciences, Scopus, ProQuest, ABSCO, or the cables directories, regional one, which is more used in America, USA. So you can decide to publish and read such kind of journal. What it shows is it shows that journal have an international readership. Number one. Number two, journal have international authorships. So your research, you are reading something that world is reading. You're contributing where you'll find readers across the globe. So that is the first thing that you should look at while reading and contributing your paper. So if you choose something to design your own project for this faculty development workshop, this slide may help you out in accessing the kind of blueprint or say sample papers that you'd like to keep, that okay, this is the kind of work that I'd like to perform. these are some new suggestions that I'm going to give to somebody who is research new in research or at infancy stage. What you should do is you should shortlist some papers from the criteria that I have previously mentioned. Now you should shortlist them. You can shortlist them based on certain criteria. That this paper is looking good for method. This paper is looking good for writing introduction. Or this in this paper, the conceptual diagram has been presented really well. Okay, the review done in this paper is eye-catching, presented nicely. Oh, tables and figures presented in this paper is really interesting. So you can shortlist these papers and then categorize them, that okay, where these papers are going to help you out. And when you're planning to write your paper should the shortlisted paper will help you out in getting certain guidelines and planning your own project. You'll have to organize the literature, whatever you shortlist and you gathered from these websites, then you need to organize that. You need to organize that based on the basis of the variables that you're going to keep, or the influential literature, like if a paper has got number of citations higher, or the paper is written latestly, or the paper is written by a renowned expert in your field. By the way, you're expected to know the renowned experts in the domain that you're working. If you do not know them and if you do not read their paper, then trust me, you are not up to date. So remember that you are reading to the renowned experts of your domain, and also you're keeping a track of what they are publishing, where they are publishing, and what all they are including, how what way their articles are. And then you need to look at how the method is written, how the arguments are written. You should have a picture of that in your mind, and your project should look like exactly these papers are looking like. If there is a difference, then your paper is not yet ready to get published, and you should not submit it to any journal, because it will ultimately get a rejection either, or it will get very huge review comments. So do not take a chance, do not waste your time. Your paper should exactly look like the way you have planned. And I would like to give you a blueprint that what you should do right now to start into this FDP program. I'm giving you a blueprint that is aggregated into two parts. The first part is the standardized one. In the standardized one, that these components or you know segments should there in the paper, and the second one is more customized. That is according to your need and the type of study that you're going to produce. Somebody may believe that I'm going to produce a qualitative study, not the quantitative one, and somebody may say that okay, I'm not going to produce a qualitative or quantitative. I want to write a conceptual one. So what you need to do is you need to prepare a blueprint. If you'll have a blueprint, you'll have a very clear idea that what do you want to gain from this faculty development program, and what exactly do you need to learn and emphasize more. What are the points where you need to have more interaction with the experts, or the kind of questions that you may have during the faculty development program. So that would not only help you out in learning from the program, that would also help you out in bringing relevance through this learning in your own blueprint. So create a blueprint of new project that you have starting, or you already have, or you would like to incorporate the learnings from this workshop to the real work. Because if you'll not do it right now, trust me, you'll not be able to collate your learnings. And collating learnings, I mean, binding learnings with the practical work is something that everybody want. If you'll not do this now, you'll not do this for another 6 months or a year, and God knows that you'll not do it in another couple of years. So do it. Your manuscript should have sections like very general. This is introduction, background, abstract, literature review, conceptual diagram, and the hypothesis. Should have a method, result, discussion, conclusion, and implication. Somebody may like to customize it. Somebody may say that my introduction and background will go together, and somebody would say that my background would be a part of my literature review. Somebody may say that I'm going to present my literature review with my conceptual diagram and the hypothesis. But if you look at something which is common, is that your paper should have an abstract, should have an introduction background to the study or literature review kind of stuff. Your paper should have a method on which your paper is based, and therefore in the workshop a lot of emphasis is being given on method. Then your paper should have a resultant discussion section and conclusion and implication to the study. These are some that you should have. I'm going to show you, you keep your questions ready. I'm going to show you just one paper of mine to let you know that where you need to give more emphasis and what is that where you need to learn. What are the thought-provoking questions that you may have? So be with me. I'm just sharing my screen again with one paper. Okay, this is one paper that we have recently done. Like I said, that collaboration is something really important. We collaborated. You could see that we were multiple authors, and one author is expert in one. Like I have conceptualized the project. I was the lead one who took this project, and my other co-authors have helped me out in developing the method or giving the argument somewhere or writing stuff, or when the paper was at revision stage, they helped us out. So what happened is when you're writing a quality paper, your team helps, and working in team not only bring the quality, it is also that you have somebody who with whom you can discuss, with whom you can get the things reviewed, that okay, this is going right, this is going wrong, and somebody can help you out there that no, it should be this way, not that way. So you already have some, somebody. When you are not working, somebody is working. When somebody is not working, you're working, because we all of us or most of us are working professionals. We really uh, it is very very hard for us to get time. So like this is how your introduction should look like. Your introduction should start with some connotation or with some arguments, and then you should have your literature review and background. Like this is the background I have given here in the introduction, that this is the domain that I'm talking about. And in the domain, we have organized the literature under the clusters of variables that we are keeping. So this is how your literature review should be. Okay, after describing all of these, this is where I want you to emphasize, and this is something that I want to show to you, that how your methodology should look like. Your methodology will have a general discussion on methodology, where you should know that how you're going to process your results, what are the techniques that you're going to apply, how you're going to club the variables and their measures or items. So these are certain things that you should know. You should know what is the difference into the variable and an item, and how are you going to club, how you're going to test the relationship. If there are hypotheses, then how you're going to do. If there are not hypotheses, then what are the kind of techniques that you're going to apply. And your familiarity with these statistical software packages and the process is something that you really need to uh, bring into a quality writing. Second is that you must know who are going to be the respondents of the study. Trust me, I reject 80% of the empirical papers from my journals just because the author do not know why they have selected a specific respondent, why they are collecting response from me, why they are collecting response from the respondents, or from whom they get the questionnaire filled, why these are the appropriate respondents, and the sampling technique. So making a relationship between the kind of respondents you choose, the kind of sampling technique that you choose, and showing it that why these respondents are the relevant respondents or the appropriate respondents is something which is very important into a quality study. Third, it comes to survey item and making a data collection tool. I've seen many of the authors clubbing certain questionnaires and saying that I have adapted this from there, and there is no clarity that what have you adapted, why have you adapted, what way you have customized the tool. There is a lot of clarity which is required, that how do you bring a tool and specifically when it's come to the mixed tool or the customized one. So you need to bring a lot of clarity on how you are going to bring the survey items. You do not say that, okay, these are the survey items I have collected from literature. That's okay. I mean, these are things that has already been proven in the literature. So what is the fun of proving them again? So you need to know that how you're going to frame your question is, and if you are doing just a questionnaire, doing it as a schedule, you're doing a focus group interview, I mean, whatever qualitative or empirical method that you're opting, then how you're going to take advantage of it. So these are certain things that you need to keep in mind. And the last one is that when you are going to process your data, then what kind of fit indices matter to you, how you're going to compare those in and what kind of fit indices that you have taken. So these are certain things that you should keep in mind before you learn, before you start the workshop. And if you have a blueprint ready, or a manuscript on which you're working, that would be superb. That will help you out in understanding more, bringing more relevant questions into the discussion, not only from the expert. Your peer learning is also important. So maybe I may not have an answer to your question, but somebody who is there in the group learning with us together might have experienced. So the more relevant questions you'll have, the more things you'll have ready in your hand, the more advantage you'll be able to take. With this, I convey my best wishes, best learning days to all of you, and I congratulate once again the team Anangpuria for taking this initiative. Thank you so much for having me here. If you have a quick questions, we'll be very happy to answer.
Sir, it is a pleasure for us that you are here, and your session has been great. We are also looking forward to another session, a detailed session, much more detailed session with you again on the 4th day. So we will be taking questions during that time.
Sure, ma'am.
Over to you, Rashmi ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sudhir ma'am and Rana sir. Now we are moving ahead towards the first day of this FDP session. Before the session, there are some instructions related to FDP which we need to aware about. Dear participants, your active participation is most required throughout the session. We are also live on YouTube. Log in to our channel as there are some limitation of participants on this platform. It's request to all the participants kindly stop their videos as well as keep their mic on mute. We are open for participants' questions. For the question answers, we have allotted 15 minutes post session. So request everyone to bear with us during the session and feel free to ask questions during the allotted time. Participants can write the questions on Telegram group. All the participants are required to type in their name and email ID in the chat box every day immediately on their joining of the program, regardless of platform via Zoom or YouTube. Attendance form link will be shared every day after the end of the session, and the link will remain active for half an hour. Therefore, requesting to fill all the required details within sanctioned time. The e-certificates will be awarded fulfilling the minimum attendance criteria of 75% collective of all the sessions, and the certificates will be issued within 10 to 12 days. Leaving the group in any circumstances shall be deemed as cancellation of registration from the participant's side. The link for assignment and feedback will be provided during the last day of FDP through email to all the participants. That's all for the instructions. So our today's session is on planning a research methodology behind a quality research paper. For that, we have very senior academician in between us, Dr. Sheela Srivastava. So before starting a session, I would like to invite once again our Head of Management Department, Ms. Kamna Singh ma'am, to introduce us about today's speaker. Ma'am, we welcome you once again, and over to you, Kamna ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rashmi ma'am. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Sheela Srivastava ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Sheela Srivastava ma'am is doctorate in economics, marketing of bank services from ML Sukhadia University, Udaipur. She is director at Nehru School of Management, Thrisuur, Kerala, having demonstrated history of education management industry. She is having strong educational and professional skills in lecturing, educational technology, instructional design, curriculum development, and team building. She is an alumnus of IIMA, more than 20 years of teaching, research, and administrative experience. Ma'am is also working skills in encouraging and supporting restructuring efforts and moving the decision-making process closer to the classroom, and have a solid background in developing a variety of learning environments that actively engage students. She has attended various conferences and seminars as well. Ma'am has attained the highest rating in faculty feedback rating at ICFI Lucknow during 2004 to 6, and also awarded as Best Regional Academic Coordinator at Hyderabad in 2007. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Kamna ma'am. Am I audible? Is it clear?
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Audible, yeah? Yeah, so before we start the session, I would like to personally congratulate all of you at BS Anangpuria Institute, and also congratulate and thank the management, the teaching fraternity there to take up this initiative and, do your bit in training the faculty members across the globe in terms of research and development. Yeah. And personal thanks to Dr. Sudhir ma'am. We've been colleagues, I think, since 2007. 13 years of long association. Thank you, Sudhir ma'am, for giving this opportunity. And hopefully I do justice to whatever has been assigned to me, because there were so senior people in the field of research ahead of me who spoke, and they gave such good insights. So probably I'll be doing justice to the session that is allotted to me. A quick check, audio is clear, video is clear. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear.
Yes, okay. So we'll start with it because I've been told that it's a mixed group of the academicians here. Some may be new to academics, some may have just joined, and my presentation rotates more around what is like, how to begin it and where should the beginning happen. So I will start with it. Then we'll, in the second part of it, we'll move towards the quality research paper, how it has to be designed. Yeah, so these are some brief contents of the presentation. What is research, research approaches, methods, how do you write an abstract, and it will go on in this flow. Yeah. So what is research? We all know what I learned, I remember, and I share it with all of you and my students also whenever I take some sessions like this. Break the word, it becomes research. You are researching something that has already been found out by adding something additional there. So it is like, if you put it together, like you are defining a problem, you are formulating a hypothesis, you collect something, you organize it, you evaluate it, you analyze the data that has come up to you, you deduce something from it, and then you are probably trying to reach to conclusions in the form of solution or the problem that came up into your mind. Okay, so what is the main aim of research work? The research work mainly is to be done that whatever truth is not coming out, with the data that we have collected, that we have put together. With that data, you are bringing the truth out there. Okay, so just a brief about the types of research. I am very sure all of you must be knowing about these different types of research, the descriptive one, analytical, applied research, fundamental research, quantitative, qualitative, conceptual, empirical, and the simplest way, like we remember, is where you put numbers into it. Just a quick check with the host. There is somebody coming on the screen as admit. Should I admit them, or will you be taking care of it?
We are taking care of it.
You'll take care of it, because it
Yes.
pops into my screen here. So I just wanted to have a quick check. Yeah. Thank you.
Not an issue, ma'am.
Thank you, Rashmi. Yeah. So what strikes into our mind is, you deal with numbers. It has to be quantitative, empirical, something like an applied research and all those things. Okay. Qualitative, it is conceptual, more of formulating theories, more of formulating models, and it goes on that way. Some other basic type of research works that we see are something in field research. You have laboratory research, simulation, clinical or diagnostic, exploratory, and decision-oriented research. I'm pretty sure the audience is aware of all this. Just a quick revamp before we reach to the actual part of the session. When we are all in a learning mode, we are all in a session, probably we have to go through the basics first and then we go there. Okay. So now when we divide it into the research approaches, the two basic approaches that are there is quantitative approach, or you take a qualitative approach. Like if I have to decide on my research work, I will put it together, like whether I will go with numbers or I will just go with the theory part. Okay, there are certain researchers also, and we see a lot of literature available which is purely on qualitative approach also. We see on a purely on a quantitative approach also. But when I come to the actual part of designing a quality research paper, I will just tell you how we can decide on going through it. Okay, I'll just come to that part. So when it is quantitative, we can probably divide it into inferential, experimental, and simulation approaches. Simulation is the new tech now, with so much of development happening in the research area and so many statistical tools also coming up. These are the certain areas, where you can develop on your research skill. So one question always comes probably in your mind also and my mind also when we are thinking of developing a quality research paper, whether it is a research method or it is a methodology. So it is a research methodology, because what you are doing in a methodology is what is there in a research method. You are taking it step by step and then putting it together, and then it becomes a research methodology. So research method is including the methods or the technical techniques that are used for conducting research. It can be library research methods, field research, laboratory research. But when you come to the methodology part of it, you have to systematically solve what was your research problem. Okay, so when you are trying to solve the research problem, you have to include the research methods that are there. So it will cover all the logical areas for the situation of the research problem that was given to you. Okay, so we put it as a crux that it is a way to systematically solve the research problem. So all the methods will be inclusive here. Okay, now this is the part that has been assigned to me as the first day session for writing a quality research paper. When we add the word quality research paper means, Dr. Rana had put it very rightly, and very seasoned and experienced academician there. I really envy such people who are able to spend so much of time out of their busy schedule in doing such relevant research work for the academic fraternity. And Dr. Bedi mentioned it somewhere, time should not be a limit. And but yes, academicians at time get into those excuses that I don't get a time to write the paper, I don't find time to do my analysis. It goes on, it goes on, it surely goes on with me also, because purely into administrative now. So it
Uh, Dr. Sheela Srivastava, ma'am, you can play a slideshow also. Yes, it's an assist to you.
it's on slideshow only.
Okay, okay,
It's
okay,
a
ma'am. It's
slideshow.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did it because yesterday we did a run through, so I done it in
Okay.
the beginning. Yeah,
Then
yeah.
sorry for the interruption. You can
It's
continue, ma'am.
perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Yeah. So what happens is when we say the word quality, what does quality mean to us? Quality, what Dr. Rana said is you get it reviewed for the journals, the reputed journals, the quality journals, okay, and you get a publication there. So that is there. Your time that is invested, gets an outcome there. You are able to publish it in one of the reputed journals. So that is what is a quality research paper. We see the beginners writing papers in some journals where it is probably they do not give them the points what Dr. Bedi had mentioned, the API index and all those things, the H1 index and all those. So you will have to probably think and come with a conclusion, what level I'm doing it. So before I, maybe Rashmi ma'am wanted to say that because she didn't see the next slide. I'll put the next slide
Yes,
before I just give the background of
yes,
the.
ma'am. The participants are not able to see the moving slides. Actually,
Oh,
like
is it clear
yes,
now? Is it okay now?
it's a clear, but it's showing the first slide only. The rest of the
Oh,
slides we
is
are
it?
not able to see now. So it's a
But
request to
I
kindly, yeah.
I have put it on slideshow. Just give me a second. Just
You
give me.
have put, but click on the next button also, ma'am. The next, yeah.
Yeah, which slide are you seeing now? Is it
The
different?
first one I'm able to
Oh
see.
my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Just a second. Just a second. Give me 2 seconds. Huh? Give me 2 seconds.
Sure,
I'll
sure.
solve
Take your
this.
time, ma'am. Yeah. Now it's moving, ma'am.
Is it okay?
Now it's showing that it's moving, ma'am.
So
Thank you.
sorry. Probably I clicked on the other presentation which I was only able to view.
No, it's now
Uh,
it's perfectly fine.
I
Thank
think
you.
I'll do one thing. I'll just go through a quick back slides. I'll just quickly tell them whatever I had shown them,
Sure.
described about. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's up to you, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah. Just a second. Again, has some problem. It's not moving back. Hi, ma'am. Can you just tell me whether you're able to see it?
I'm able to see there's something mentioned that steps to write a quality research paper. I'm able to see
Yeah.
this slide.
Are you able to
Yes.
see it now?
No, yes, ma'am. I'm able to see. Thank you.
Are they able to see it now?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly fine. It's now.
Yeah. So sorry. So sorry.
No,
Technical
it's okay, ma'am. It's
glitches keep on happening here and there. Yeah. Yeah, so this is, I'm sorry, the participants, I'm really sincere apologies. I thought it was moving on my screen, so it was moving on your screen also. Yeah, this is a quick recap of what I have already done. So this was it. I explained these things. the research approaches, then the research methods versus methodology. And here I was talking about, so you need to give me a moment and tell you more about it, because we are all in the teaching field, and we see different levels of guiding the research work. When it comes to the management education, we have something called as a project work for the MBA students. Then we move forward, and some of the students do an MPhil, and then they go for probably they decide finally to be in the teaching area, and they register themselves for the PhD program. Um, so when you see at the PG level or the post graduation level of studies, or the MPhil also for that reason, only one level to another level is between MBA and the or the PG and the MPhil. That they take the basics of the research program, and that is how they they may be going through certain literatures which are not of that top level, but what happens is they just decide the basics. Many of the research work that the students are doing in their area, probably you will see that it is related to advertisement effect, organization behavior, why attrition is happening, so on and so forth. MPhil a little higher. But when you come to the PhD level, now every university, the state university, the private universities have one compulsory thing, is that you need to have 3 quality publications. 3 quality publications. The word quality there means is that you need to have publications with what Dr. Rana had listed there, the ABDC journals, the Scopus Index journals, all those. So Dr. Rana had rightly put it up there, so I'm not going to take a further discussion on that. So that is where we say quality. Okay. Now coming on, there my humble and kind request to all the participants here is what Dr. Rana and Dr. Bedi had also mentioned, is reading, and a lot of reading has to happen. Okay. So this is how I have put it. We'll go through the steps later. I'll just tell you how you can decide upon a research problem. Okay, so the research problem, not going by the common things, if you do a lot of reading, you will find something. The new term there is the research gap. In most of the literatures that are available, the good journals literature that are available, probably you will see that there are certain gaps that have been left out by the previous researcher, giving you a scope of further research. How do we find out? You have to do a thorough literature review. You have to refer to standard journals only. Then the scope of future research is given in the conclusion part of the research papers. I can quickly quote an example here. I'll spend some time here because this is of more relevance to all of you here, because the other major part, whatever was there, Dr. Rana has already covered. So probably we can discuss a bit more here and take it. So I would just like to share one paper. Dr. Rashmi, are you okay viewing the paper?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible. Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Thank you, thank you. Sorry to keep disturbing you, huh? Yeah, because until I get a feedback, I'll not be knowing whether people are able to view it or not. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah. My dear learners here, I would like to tell you, this was a paper that was published by Alan M. Sachs and Joseph Rotman in the year 2006. Okay, so this is a paper which was published in, you can see it is a reputed journal of managerial psychology, volume 21, number 7, page so and so. Okay. So if you see what was the purpose of their study, the purpose of their study was about the employee engagement, because those days the employment engagement was a hot topic, and they wanted to see what are the factors that will be adding up or contributing to employee engagement. Okay, the purpose, if you see, it is mentioned here, this part, the purpose of this study was to test a model of the antecedents and consequences of job and organization engagement based on social exchange theory. So this was the purpose of Alan Sachs and Joseph Rotman's paper that they did in 2006. But if you see the portion that I have colored in yellow, it gives us the results indicate that there is a meaningful difference between job and organization engagements, and that the perceived organizational support predicts both job and organization engagement. So that is where Alan Sachs found out a gap, and they said that in their conclusion they have written, if you see here, they have mentioned that employee engagement, job and organization engagement are related to individual consequences. Job and organization engagement meditate the relationship between antecedent variables and consequences, and this provides a meaningful theoretical basis for understanding and studying employee engagement. So that is how both the authors gave a scope of study for what can be the job engagement, what can be the organization engagement, and what can be the employee engagement. So now if you see here, again, this was revisited. Antecedents and consequences of employee engagement was revisited by Alan M. Sachs. And if you see here, they have given some findings, but still in the same paper again, Mr. Sachs is telling that again there is a future scope, there is again a research gap. Okay, so my submission here to all the learners of research, or the ones who want to do a quality research paper is, if you go through, there are n number of research articles available on the medium. The information is vast, and you need to read and read. And you know, you think an area, my area is HR, my area is finance, my area is marketing. Then you conclude on a topic, whether it is, you know, it has to be employees, whether it has to be job satisfaction, whatever. So once you are framing an area around which you need to work, then you will be searching for the literature review. Okay, and with that gap that is already there, if you carry a research forward, because your base with the literature review that is available becomes very strong. So that is one submission I wanted to do here, or one sharing that I wanted to do here was, probably if you do your the first step, the base, if it is strong, probably you will be going further in the steps in a very correct manner, and the word have you picked up your research problem. That is where the word quality comes up. And as Dr. Rana had also mentioned it, that, you know, the acceptance in the reputed journals will be there. Okay, I had another few more papers. I don't know whether you would just like to see it. This is one paper which has a lot of research gap here. That is employee resilience and leadership styles, the moderating role. And if you see, it was written in the, it was published in the New Zealand Journal of Psychology. And it is done in 2006, but I have listed some of the research gap here. And probably you will be in a position to, you know, take some examples of this. So this is some of the authors that have done it. I would like to share one of my own paper, co-authored and co-published with for IIM Lucknow. This was way back in 2017. So here, if you see this part, you know, this is how we came to a conclusion, or, you know, we came to deciding like what can be the topic, because we together found out a gap in one of the papers or the previous literature that was published. This is there. The growing interest towards organic food products was increasing Okay, and the respondents were talking more about the food safety and the health concerns. So this is how we decided what can be the factors influencing the purchase decision of organic food products. It was an empirical study on the Indian food and grocery retailing customers. So, based on that, we decided on the objectives of the study, we decided on the research gap and research problem, and we developed a hypothesized conceptual model, and that is how we went further for it. Okay, so it was published and it is there in the IIM Lucknow journal also. It was produced there. Okay, so yeah, that was about it. So we come back to the. So hope I was able to clarify the basic part of it. Madam, are you seeing this slideshow now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll just do a quick check. Are you seeing the next one?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So this is the base. This is how we prepare the research problem. So once your research problem is done, the first step, I would like all the participants, the listeners, the learners here, please make a note of it that the first step for moving ahead for a quality research paper is to define your research problem, and if it is accompanied by a research gap, it will add value, the best value to your research paper. Okay, so the first step is that. Second thing is, before you get into the methodology part of it, the sampling designing, the research designing and all that, just decide whether you are going only with a conceptual paper there. Okay, in conceptual, now what we talk about is you will be developing a theory. You saw a model which we had presented in our own paper. So, whether you will be developing a theory and a conceptual model there, or you will be testing the theory with the empirical data, or the, in simpler terms, if you say the quantitative data that will be available. You'll prepare a questionnaire, and you'll move forward with the data that comes back to you. You analyze it, conclude it, and all those things. So one is theory development, and the second one is theory testing. Theory testing is only done, can be done, not only done, can be done on the previous models also that are available. Not necessarily you create it. You may have somebody else's theory also there. You want to test it. It is quite okay. You can do that. And that is basically the empirical data, the empirical study, the quantitative data that you collect. The third part in the research approach can be you want to do an elaborate research in the area. The topic you found is quite interesting. Will bring new ideas, will float innovative ideas to the academic fraternity or to the learners. So what you do is you at the initial stage you develop a model, a conceptual theory, a theoretical framework is developed by you. Then you are probably trying to test your own model. Okay, so then you decide that I will go with both the things, that is research development and testing. So basic conclusion here in the initial part of it is, one is your research concepts should be very clear, and the Bible of learning the research concepts is C.R. Kothari. The most simplest way they write the research steps, the basics, which I had shown in the previous slides, probably you missed it, so I just did a quick run through there. So the Bible of learning those simple concepts, how I frame my population, from the population, how I take the sampling units, how I have to design it, research design, all that, the basics you learn there. And when you come to a little, a second level of doing a research work, this is how you have to decide upon. A lot of literature review with the basic terminology in the mind, this is how I have to proceed, this is the research approach I will have. So that is it. And now comes the basic steps. Dr. Rana had, concised it and put it. Probably I'll try to elaborate it a little here. So whenever you are planning to publish your paper in a journal or any of the international conferences, national conferences, seminars, the first click of the mail that comes to you, it says, kindly submit your abstract by so and so date. Okay. And then they give you certain guidelines for writing the abstract. Okay. So the first step is you have decided the research problem. Any area, anything can be there. How you decide it is up to you. I gave you an idea of it, that is the research gap. And then you decide on the approach, your research approach, how you're going to do it. Then you have to jot down your abstract. So how do you write an abstract? They'll have some guidelines. Some say 5,000, 3,000 words or, something. So it should not be very elaborate. You have to stick to what is the limit given by the publisher or the organizers or the conveners, whoever. Okay, so what it should basically include? It should include the overall purpose of the study and the research problem that you are going to investigate, the basic design of your study, the research design, the major findings or trends which will be you are trying to analyze, and your expectation is there, and just a summary. Okay, please be very careful when you are deciding writing your abstract. It should not be very lengthy. You should not cross the limits. And another thing is the framing of sentences has to be very, very careful there. You cannot leave it as incomplete sentences, where it ends, it has to have a meaning. And in the abstract, we do not give any reference of the other literature that we are studying. Okay, we don't use any abbreviations, we don't use hi-fi jargons here, we don't use any images, illustrations, because we have not started our research work. Okay, we are just putting a situation there and we are trying to say that we are doing it. So be very careful, it has to be very concise, and you need to stick to the number of words that has been mentioned there, and the outline of the instructions that is given to you by the organizers or whoever is calling for the papers. Okay. The next step is once you have decided upon this, these are just the preliminary areas. Probably all of you must be aware, but just need to cover it up. So I'm covering it up. How do you write an introduction? So once you have written your abstract, you get a mail back from your publisher saying that the abstract has been accepted. Your full paper submission comes on so and so date. So how do you move forward now? So it is like the introduction should consist of background information, your research problem or the research question that has arisen there, and a theoretical framework. Okay, if you put it in the simplest term, I've tried to put it here in the simplest way, that if you think of the introduction as a mental roadmap, okay, you are thinking that this is from one day to the 30th day till the time I have to submit my paper. This is going to be my roadmap. What am I going to do? So it should answer your basic question set. What was I studying? Why was this topic important for me to investigate? What did we know this topic before I studied this topic? And how will this study advance my knowledge? These basic questions should be answered in your introduction part. That is how you design a introduction part for your research paper. Okay. So as it is well said that a well-written introduction is important, because quite simply, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. Okay, so your introduction should also be framed in the same way. Okay, Now we heard a lot about reading and keeping ourselves updated and all that. So, and I also in the initial part told you about mm, the literature review. Okay, so what is the purpose? Now, after the introduction, we write the literature review. Okay, so just some quick things that are there is place each work in the context of its contribution to the understanding of the research problem that you have identified to study. You are trying to develop a relation of the work for others' consideration. You are trying to identify new ways and shed any gaps. We talked about the gaps a lot. And you're trying to resolve conflicts among seemingly contradictory previous studies. Okay. And point the way in fulfilling a need for additional research. Locate your own research within the context of existing literature. Will your literature or your research work find a place to be studied or to be read in context of the previous literature review that you have been doing? That should be the placement of your quality research paper that will be published. Okay, and how it should be? It consists of a simple summary of key sources, but it has to be in an organized pattern and combines both the summary and the synthesis, often within specific conceptual categories. And in the conclusion of the literature review, identify where gaps exist in a problem has been reached to date. Okay. Yeah. Just a quick check. Is it going on well?
Yes, ma'am. Perfectly well, ma'am.
Perfectly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So the next step is hypothesis. Okay. Hypothesis, I will not deal much here because, sometimes it depends on the type of the paper that you are doing. You have the null hypothesis, and then you have the alternate hypothesis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes on. Probably you will be all knowing about it. And but I'll just tell you why it is important to write it, and what does it mean. So hypothesis is a tentative explanation of your research problem. You see the null hypothesis, you see the alternate hypothesis. So it is sometimes referred to as an educated guess also. It is tentative, testable, it can be wrong, and it is like an observed phenomena in a nature based on the previous research, observation, and experiences. Like you say, it can be like this, it has to be like this. Okay, probably you all know about it, so I'm not going deep into it. It is more crucial for scientific research. The numbers are there, the data is there. It can never be right or wrong, but it is supported or unsupported by the data and the evidence that you have collected. It is like, it is, you cannot say my hypothesis went wrong or it is 100% correct. It is only being supported. Your null hypothesis, your alternate hypothesis are only being supported by the data that you have collected. You have analyzed it, you have reached to a result, the findings. Okay. And a good definition a good hypothesis defines an independent and a dependent variable. Yeah. Should not go deep into dependent and independent variables. Probably you must be knowing about it surely. Yeah. Now the next very, very important part of the quality research paper is how to proceed for data collection. How do you proceed for a data collection is you have to decide conceptual paper, secondary data may be enough for all of you. If you are going for testing mode, you need some primary data. Okay. Qualitative data, there are so many ways of collecting the data, and quantitative also, not going into deep of it, direct, indirect you have another mediums, and indirect you have some other mediums. But I would like to focus on the primary data that you are collecting and the questionnaire, because this is of relevance nowadays in today's research, where research has moved to another level. The primary data that you are collecting, and primarily collecting it via questionnaires. That is the only medium. Say suppose you may be thinking of a research work in the COVID area, COVID duration, sorry, and where you feel that you have some good time to research on. So what happens is, you decide on a research problem that can be the literature review, and your research approach says that it has to be a testing mode, or theory testing has to be there, or whatever. So you decide, I have to go with a quantitative data collection, and my data has to be on a primary, my result analysis will be on a primary data. So I need to collect some data. So this is why this is important, is because your information, your study, conclusion, findings, everything will be based on the questionnaire. Okay, because you're not going to add up anything of your own. You don't have the choice of adding it upon an assumption, or my perception or something. No, you cannot do it. You need to have valid authenticity to prove that this is the data that is collected, and this is how it has been interpreted, and this is how the analysis was done, and this is the result, this is the findings of it, and I conclude my paper here. So you need to have something relevant there. So if you are planning to do it with a questionnaire mode, questionnaire also, it can be in two different areas. Like one can be a direct questionnaire, the other can be a scheduled one. In a scheduled one, it becomes difficult. It's you need to go and meet them personally. All those things are there. You must be knowing about it. So that is a difficulty that arises. Some merits of questionnaires are also there, some demerits are also there, but demerits can always be taken care, provided you are careful about the approach of getting the questionnaires filled. So some quick merits let's go through. It's a low cost, even when the universe is large and is widely spread geographically. I may be sitting in Kerala and wanting my respondents to be from Delhi, or across the globe. So I'm sitting here, I can get it done from there. And it is free from the bias of the interviewer. I'm not seeing the person face to face, so my biasness for my influence is not there. I cannot tell the respondent, no, please, this is my choice, and my questionnaire, please fill it in my way. That is not there. Respondents have the adequate time to give well thought out answers. Respondents who are not easily approachable can also be reached conveniently, and large samples can be made use, and thus the results can be more dependable and reliable. Your sampling size does not restrict you to the area that you are there. That is the one benefit that you have. You do not influence the respondent also. But certain times when I say globe is available, in the same way, we see some demerits also. One is like the low rate of return is what is we see from the questionnaires. You keep on sending emails, and some of them reply, but still you get relevant data that you need to have, but that is one demerit. But the second demerit is you can share it only with the fraternity, the people who are educated, who will click the email, open your Google spreadsheet, fill the data, and who are cooperative. Okay, like it should not be again lack of time and all those things, like Dr. Bedi also mentioned. We keep on telling that. So many of the academicians also do it. You sometimes get a email when you're on something important, and they don't you don't want to fill it and send it back. So that's it. Okay. So once you have floated the questionnaire, you lose control over it. There is nothing that you can do. Probably it goes to your guide, and your guide tells that there is a correction there. You cannot do it. Okay, so that flexibility is not there for you to make a correction. So that is another demerit. But we have a way to correct that inflexibility. I'll come in the next slide about it. So there is a possibility of ambiguous replies coming to you, or they may have missed on some questions. You know, some people on if it's a Likert scale sort of a thing, there is no sixth choice, but somebody mentions it as a sixth choice, and all those things are there. All those difficulties are there, and you never know. You send it to a particular respondent. You are doing a study on the faculty members, and the faculty member passed it to an industry person, saying that my friend is doing a research. Will you please write your comment and fill it and send it? So you don't know who is the actual representative there sending the email back to you. Okay, and this method at times can be the slowest of all. Can be, we never know. We are moving each day in technology, we are moving upscale only. And recently, to be honest, the previous durations, I have not done a research on the uh, getting a questionnaire, so I'll not be able to comment. But yeah, this is what our previous authors believe, that they are probably the slowest of all. But with the increase in the technology, probably it will take a quick pace also. Okay, so in a quality research paper, again we say it is always better to conduct a pilot survey. Okay, that is, we say how to validate your question. If you give me a second, I'll just have some water. Yeah, just a second.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you. So, it's heavily raining here. Before the connection goes, I just want to, just finish it off, because the networks just vanish when it rains heavily in Kerala. Yeah. So yeah. So how do you validate a questionnaire? So now, there the step that I said is, you are sending it to en masse people across the globe, but you need to have a thorough validity. So that is where we again say the quality of the research paper, because your question paper will also be put up in the appendix that you will be adding up there to your paper. Okay, so the first reliability and the validity testing that you can do is, we call it as a face validity. That is, you need to check the contents of your questionnaire, and that is, in and around you, you will surely have some experts in that area. You may have some psychometricians. Uh, so you need to approach them. There's no harm, we learn with everybody. And so don't feel like, why should I go to somebody and get my questionnaire validated? If I have written it, what is the need of going and getting it checked by somebody else? No, don't keep those things in mind. It is always and always better, especially for the learners. Okay, but at my level also, because I'm not into too much of research work, at my level also, if tomorrow I have to do a research, surely we have a group of academic friends. I have a group of academic friends who keep on doing quality research work. The other paper that I showed, one of my colleague, maybe every 15 days, one reputed journal, only research work, quality research work, 30 PhD over under him. So, those kind of people are, even if he's younger to me in the academic experience area, but a guru in my research area. So that is how, if we have to do it, I need to go to him, get it validated there. And probably my psychometrician, because, when they will ask you, like, who will be your respondents, how may they react to certain questions that you are posing up, will they be feeling not to respond? All those things can be there. So if your sample size is big, probably if you do it with a pilot testing of 100, you can get something authentic there. You can get something which will be of importance to you. But you know don't keep in mind that if my respondent size was 500, I assumed it to be 500, and this 100 can be included there. No. you cannot include it there because the pilot study is done across the universe, you know. So the population is a bigger size for you. You cannot take it there because they come randomly to you. You have just taken that test for a done that pilot test for a testing. Okay, then you need to identify there is a PCA and principal component analysis is there. Convex alpha is there to check the internal consistency of the questions. So this is how if you meet this particular area of this particular slide, which is of very importance to all of you, very important to all of you. You know, the second stage of your quality research paper will be achieved. Okay, first is your research problem has to be identified, keeping in mind the research gap. The second thing is you need to have a good testing. The approach has to be good. And third, if your research problem is good, means you have done a lot of literature survey, literature review. So that part is taken care. And then if you are going with a primary data, your questionnaire. Your questionnaire carries a lot of value for your research work to get the word quality in front of it. Quality research paper, quality publications. Okay, so this is how you can proceed for it and how you can go ahead with it. Okay. Uh, then data compilation and analysis, I will not take much time on it because I know there are other very senior people, experienced people in this area who will be doing the carrying it forward tomorrow and day after and another 4 more days for you. So I'm not touching much upon it, but yeah, there are good statistical tools available now for all the research data that you get, and you can compile it for qualitative as well as for quantitative analysis. Probably they will throw more light. I'm not the right person to talk about it. Okay, yeah. So results, discussions, and conclusions. Okay, so this is how you put it together after your all your analysis is done and all your data you have compiled it. You need to present it in a summary form. So we call it, we can put it in 3 different areas. One is your results, one is your discussion, your views based on your results. Results are often represented only through the non-textual elements that can be chart, figures, flow chart, graph, histogram, illustrations, pictographs, symbols, tables, etc. Okay, and when you're writing a discussion, also be very careful about, you know, what was the new thing that has come out. Okay, you need to be more focused. Like I gave you the I shared with you the paper of Sachs, Alan Sachs, and there was another paper on leadership style. So those papers, if you see how in their discussion and the conclusion part, they have clearly highlighted what is the gap, what were they not able to find out, what were the factors that was not considered for job engagement and you know, organization engagement, employee engagement. So this is you know, how you need to present it. So uh, that is how you put it in your final part of the paper. And then surely the conclusion, it has to be a good conclusion. You present the last word on the issues you found in the paper, summarizing your thoughts and conveying the larger implications of your study, whom it is going to benefit, whether it's the industry or the academia or a particular organization or a particular company. Profits can be there, losses can be there, anything it can be. Okay, and what were your ideas and how important it is for them to know about it. And the last thing, again, the new areas that can be again searched. Probably yours was a limited one, but you leave a scope for the future researchers that can be handled. Okay, and the appendix that has to be there, all the relevant data from wherever you have gathered the information, it should have some validity. One is your questionnaire has to be there. The all the other relevant material that you have collected. Yeah. The second last part of it, how to proofread the final paper. This is again very important, rushing through, writing through, and just sending it across will not solve the purpose of, again, the word quality research paper. Okay, you need to read it again and again. The all the journals prescribed, all the journals have certain instructions. Line spacing should be there, the font should be the topic font size should be this much, the other should be this much. These are basics, but what happens rushing through a paper, we usually forget this part. And we thinking that my research problem was excellent, bahut acha tha, and my research design was very good, my sampling was a bigger number, everything was good, but why my paper still got rejected? And if you run through it again, you will find the errors there. So please make a note that before you click that send, please read it yourself, your co-authors, your academic people, everybody in your circle, whoever is there, if you can just get it checked. For the beginners, I'm talking about. The experienced people in the audience today may agree to it. It is not for them. It is for the beginners here. I was told that there are a lot of freshers also here. So this is basically intended for them. That please avoid these errors, and when you also start initially start publishing at 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, you will get used to it, accustomed to it, and that is there. And one more thing is, don't be repetitive about any of your words, any of your sentences that are there. Don't be repetitive about it. If you have mentioned it somewhere, don't go back and talk about the same thing again. Okay, so, and this thing, I think Dr. Rana will cover it again. He has a session again with you, I think. So I'm just giving a brief here, the bibliography and citations that have to be there. In the literature review, like you have to cite it, citations have to be there, from where you have collected the information and all those things. So, yeah. And the last one is avoid plagiarism. You have a session on ethics in research. So they will talk deeply, but my only submission here is anything that you read on the internet, literature review, because now many of the things are you can download it at one click. Some of them are paid versions. Sorry. Some means many of the reputed ones are paid, but you have your own tricks to download it. But please don't just copy and paste it there. They have their own methods of finding it. You read it, try to reread it, and try to put it in your own formations of sentences, your own formations of paragraphs, and then try to quote it there. And it's always better to be honest in your research work. Honesty, because citations are there, you have to mention it in the bibliography. As much as you talk about your citations and bibliography, there is no harm about it. But if you try to copy and paste it from there, what happens is, once rejected, it really puts you down, and the second level of going for a research work will not motivate you. So that is how I end it here. Hope I could justify and hope I could do a justice to the session. Yeah, so thank you, everybody. Yeah. Are there any questions coming up? I cannot hear you, Rashmi ma'am. Not able to hear you.
Yeah. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, ma'am, it was really very informative. You have given us so much insight about what the things we need to keep in mind while writing a quality research paper. There are so many questions we have received.
Yeah.
So moving on toward the question answer session, there is a question from Miss Seema. She wants to ask which method is best, questionnaire by email or a scheduled method? Which method you suggest is the best?
Yeah. You said who is the person?
Miss Seema.
Miss Seema. Yeah. Hi, Miss Seema. I cannot see you. Probably you can see me, but yeah, I would like to tell you both the scheduled ones and the questionnaire form, like sending it via email, both have their merits and demerits. But the scheduled one is like if you have uh, the time available for you, like if you're a beginner, if you're a new researcher, you have just started your research work, your PhD research work, probably you will have you have some time frame like 3 years in management, 2 years in management, and all that stuff. So if you find first is you prepare your timelines. If you have that time available at your discretion, scheduled ones would be a little better, for the sense that when we say that you are sending it across, just a second, just a second. Can you just tell me the session? Yeah. So what happens is you can do it. But if you feel paucity of time is there, you will not be able to meet everybody on a face-to-face basis, and because your sample size also has to be considered. So in that situation, it is better that you send it across via the email. Yeah. Hope I've answered your question, Seema.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope she is clear with the answer.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the next question. There is a question from Sony Mary. There is a question from Sony Mary, and he wants to ask how to do a qualitative research in a week. Ma'am, you have mentioned about somebody. Can you give an example?
I didn't get it. In a week.
Yes, in a week. How to do a qualitative research in a week?
Qualitative research in a week is, too fast. I don't think so. I mentioned that. No, no, no. Probably you heard it wrongly or you understood it wrongly, Mr. Soni. It is like it cannot be done so fast. It is no research is done so fast. Even if you go with an MBA project work or an PG level project work, also you cannot do it so fast. Yeah. So qualitative research, in no way you can do it. I'm sorry if I, in the flow of speaking, I spoke like that or you understood it like that. My apologies.
Maybe, ma'am. Maybe. Okay. Now, next on, moving to the next question. There is a question from somebody. The name is not clear actually. She wants to ask, he or she, is it necessary to take ethical committee clearance for any type of medical research into account?
As far as I know, it is yes, but into medical research, I would not be able to tell more. But yes, when I read some articles and all, yeah, it is there because you are talking to a community at large. If you see the recent case of Baba Ramdev in terms of that was one research area in terms of medical where the clearance was not taken, and that was a research. The corona bill that came out for coronavirus, it was not, and a clearance was not taken from the medical council. So ethics is there, and I think yes, it is necessary because the people who are going to listen to you and move forward based on that investigation that you're going to submit, it is at a larger area.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The next question is by Sandeep R. Kapse. He wants to ask how to encourage students not to be a victim of plagiarism. How we can encourage the students here.
Yeah, Dr. Sandeep, I too face these issues. We sit in a project presentation and, we pull the child on that because we immediately come to know it. Yeah, how do you motivate them is, if we are good learners, if we are good readers, we means I am talking about us as teachers, as their faculty guides. So what happens is probably I can give them a concept. I'll tell you my experience when I came back from IIM Ahmedabad after my learning a residential program. I did there for 4 months, and I came back. They give you so many insights on developing a research project title. That is for the beginners. Beginners, we say the first level where we do it at the PG level. They give you so many insights, so there'll be so many topics that you can pick up, and make them curious to learn about it. Once they are curious only, they will not go for just cut, copy and paste there. They will be curious to learn about new topics, and they will try to investigate. So that is one way I feel that we as academicians, we as guides to them, can motivate them. Yeah, hope Dr. Sandeep I have answered to you.
Ma'am, hoping that she is clear with the answer. Now, the next question is there any website in which I can find full indexing details of all referred journals?
Yeah, yeah. If you put it on the Google link, it will be there. ABDC, everything will come. Whatever Dr. Rana was talking about, it is there. It is easily available. You can just search
Okay.
it and find it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Next question is, for article writing tool, for writing an article, which tool do you prefer? Microsoft Word, LaTeX, or what else? Please share your opinion, ma'am. Which tool is best, Microsoft Word or LaTeX?
No, I'm sorry, I would not be able to answer that. Microsoft Word, or
It's okay.
is it written here?
LaTeX.
Push latest.
It's LaTeX. LATX. Yes, LaTeX.
I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay, ma'am. Now, next we are putting the next question. Miss Seema, she is confused regarding the empirical research. So, can you please clarify with example what is empirical research is all about?
See, I will not go with an example, but what I can tell you is if you had seen our paper, which I showed you, the e-commerce one, that was an empirical research. Wherever you are linking it to a numbers, okay, you are trying to, we developed a model, we tried to prove it through the data that we collected, and we came out with a conclusion there. That is an empirical research, ma'am. Like you have numbers there, you are collecting data, you are trying to justify your research problem, answering to your research problem through the data. That is empirical research. That is the only example I can quickly give through. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Much, ma'am. There are so many questions,
Yeah.
but we are not able to answer each one of them because we are running short of time here. We will answer them through the email. We will provide you all the answers. Thank you, participants, for your
Yeah, please,
questions.
you what you can do is you can send me the questions, and I'll just find out some time, and
Yes.
before you finish your FDP, I will probably answer to your questions, and I will put it across through the email. You can share it with all of them.
Okay.
Yeah?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for sparing your time from your busiest schedule. It
Pleasure.
was a wonderful session with you. We have received a very good response in the chat box. Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the participants for joining us today. Dear participants, we look forward for your participation for tomorrow's session. Our tomorrow's session is on qualitative analysis using SPS. Thanks once again. Thank you, ma'am, and thanks to all the participants and all the eminent speakers who have joined us across India. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sukhbir, ma'am. Thank you, Kamna, ma'am, and thank you, Rashmi, ma'am, also for giving this opportunity, and the entire team of your institute. Please convey my wishes to the chairman and the management
Yes,
for giving this
definitely.
opportunity. Wonderful effort that you people are doing with so many participations there. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome.
Pooja ma'am.
ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
please wait for 5 to 10 minutes so that attendance form can be filled by the participants.
Sure, ma'am.
So we
Sure,
can
ma'am.
wait.
I'm not ending the meeting. It is still going on, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Dear participants, please wait. We are providing you the attendance link.
Ma'am, link has been shared in the chat box itself. Only we are giving them time to fill the form.
Okay, sure. Dear participant, there is a link in the chat box. You can find it and fill it. Thank you.